everybody, Kat from Creative Crafts, and today's DIY is going to be all about weddings. As you can see, I have some things prepared for it, and if you want to know exactly what I'm doing, watch further. So everybody, the things that you're going to need for this is going to be a few things. You're going to do two different methods. What you see here, this is the napkin technique that I used on here. This is very easy to follow. I have the video. The link is going to be on this video, so you can follow that, do that part first to get this done, what I did here. And you're going to need these tiles, extra tiles. It's recycling. Instead of throwing it away, if you renewed a bathroom and you had too many pieces, I didn't pay very much for this because this, I guess in one of the shops, it's no longer available, so I bought whatever they had there. I mean, they only had like maybe 1.5 boxes or something like that. But I'm making coasters out of them, and how you do it is I did the napkin technique, and then I put the cork bottom on it, and they're really nice. They're sturdy, and before you use the coasters, you like put a glass on when it's wet, when it's summer, and the moisture can loosen up the glue, because the napkin technique you use something like an Elmer's glue on top. It's like Elmer's glue mixed with water, and that's called Mosh Posh. And what you did do is it's not waterproof, so what you can do, what I suggest that you do, if you make the coasters, what you can do is spray it with a clear varnish. And when you're done with the clear varnish, once that one coat is on there, if you want to put two, go ahead, but don't put too many. Once you have the coats on it, then it's waterproof, and then you don't have to worry about, you know, when something hits it and it gets wet, it's going to stain or it's going to rip up and tear up. That's one suggestion I can do when you do the napkin technique on these tiles. So the items that you're going to need are, of course, is the glue gun. You're going to need glue called E6000, which is a very strong glue adhesive. So that will keep, because the hot glue, you can't hot glue these things together, because hot glue doesn't stick very well to glass or ceramic or wood and certain kind of particles. It does not stick very well to it. It may work because of the fact of this, but this is not what I want to do, because I want to put something here in the corners. But that is another step. Like I said, you're going to need some tiles. Check out the video on about doing the coasters out of these tiles. E6000, glue gun, flowers, little knickknacks, any kind of things that you can use for your little table setting for the wedding. So now if you want to see what we're going to do, let's get to the next step. So the first step is you're going to need the tiles, of course. So, and they usually come in like this. And I cut them apart, cut them off. I try to leave this part on because when you put the cork on or glue on it, it sticks better. So just make sure you trim it all on the sides. So you're going to need 5 tiles, one without anything on it. And then what you want to do is you're going to take your glue gun and your E6000 and stick this on here. This is the inside, okay? And now how you see I get this here, this is two different pieces, and I wanted to make a line across it. So I was going to make this as a coaster, but I decided I wanted to make a small, short video about how you can turn these into a wedding centerpiece. So what I'm going to do now is, I hope I can open this. Hasn't been used in a while. When you're working with hot glue, be careful because it can be very hot and you can burn your fingers. And this glue, if you get it on your fingers, it takes a while to dry, so make sure you clean your fingers thoroughly before you touch anything. It's It's not like I was going to say in German, Sekundenkleber. You know, that instant glue, nail glue, or whatever you want to call it. So what I'm going to do is, I want this on the bottom, or you can have that on the top. I think it looks better that way. So what I'm going to do is, I want to stick some of this glue. I guess it's really close. You just need a tiny bit. And then you're going to take your glue gun. What's so great about my glue gun? It's cordless. It's a new one. I'm so excited about it. Come on. It's a new one. I never used it before. Oops. That was too much. I can take that off. Oops. So, now, like I said, be careful with the glue. It's on the bottom now, so you don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wipe it. And I just want the glue to stick on here like this. And what I would just suggest that you do is make sure you don't let it stick onto anything that moves. So, and now you go and do that to all 4 sides. As you can see, there's space here, but that's now one thing I want to show you what you could do with that. So this is the first step. I would suggest, like I said before, use this, put some of this on it, because it'll really keep it on there good, because you do not want this glue, just the hot glue. The hot glue will not stick. If you want, you can put the cork on it. I left the cork off. So now you're going to do this. What I do is, I do this. And you see what happens when you don't use the hot glue? And that's what you don't want. So what I suggest you to do is just a tad bit of glue. Not as like I did, because this is a new glue gun and I'm not sure how it was going to work. But make sure it's even, especially here. And I would move it around to make sure the glue's not sticking to the table. And there you go. You see that space here? You want it like that. If you don't want a space, all I have to do is suggest is that you just take the 4 corners and, you know, glue them together, totally together like this. You know, instead of using this as a template. I'm using this because I want it as make it like a square looking vase, and that's my idea of what I want to do. So what I want to do is, like I said, stick this glue. I don't think you need really much. And the same thing goes for the hot glue. You don't need much. You just need enough so you can, I go like this, and then I try to hold it in an even angle. Of course, you know, like I said before, move this around a little bit, and then you have your 4 corners almost. And then you do the next one. You see how that looks? I think that looks really nice. You can buy all kinds of napkins and see if you can mix and match. Because like I said, these are 2 separate pieces of napkin. It's from the same napkin, but I cut it because I wanted to have, you know, some flower effect on top and stuff like that. So make sure you have it on your correct angle. Don't really need much, like I said. Just a little bit of normal glue, hot glue. The funny thing is, I was so excited. I didn't know this glue gun was actually cordless. When I found out that it was cordless, I almost freaked out. So try to keep it up in an even angle. Just need to hold it just for a little bit. And like I said, move it. And there you go. That is one of the steps that you could do. It's pretty easy to do this. You can use red napkins, any color napkins you want, any kind of napkin actually. And you can even buy wedding napkins, you know, with little wedding things on it. And you can decorate it and use the method of the Mosh Posh napkin technique, whatever it's called. Another thing you could do is a different method, but I will make that another video. So everybody, for the next step, what I suggest that you do is, I got this from Amazon. Not much. You get a huge, what is it? How much is this? It's 6mm by 10mm metallic silver pearl, you know, wire. I think there is at least 2 meters at least on it. And then I suggest, if you want bling, you can buy this too, also on Amazon. It comes in a huge strips. Or what you want, you can use normal material wraps or ribbon. You can use that too. And these pearls, what I did is, I want to glue these with a glue gun on here, onto the sides. And then to make it a little bit more stable here around the sides, after I glue these on, I want to wrap it either with the bling or with this. I'm not sure exactly. So what we're going to do now is get my trusty glue gun here, and I'm not sure. I think I should actually, no, I will stick the glue on here. So, and now what I'm going to do is, like I said, be careful so you don't burn your fingers, and make sure you don't put so much glue on it that you can see through it. You don't want that. If you don't get glue all the way on the bottom, later, once you get all the sides glued, you can glue it completely onto it. You know, take a little bit of the glue and stick it on there so you know that it will glue onto the sides, because the sides has paper on it. So that's one good thing about having the paper onto it. It makes the thing a little bit more stable. So this one is moving a lot, so what I'm going to suggest is, I'm going to start and I'm just going to stick this right up the top first, and then work my way down. And there we go. I think that looks pretty nice. I think. Maybe wrong. You can pre-cut everything like I did here. No, not yet. I hate the glue strings from the hot glue. So I suggest that you try to work as fast as possible before the glue, and try to make sure you have it directly in the corners there. And that's sticking. So now we do the last one. with you right now. I'm just going to stick you there. So now, like I said, start first from the top. This one is a little bit higher, but I would suggest that you should try to keep it all level. The rest are all level. You see a little bit of things up here, but once you have all the flowers on it, you're not going to notice it. But so far, this is what it looks like. Let me push this to the side. And I think it looks awesome. This is a nice, quick idea, you know, if you want to make something nice for your wedding and you don't have that much money and you want to try to make it nice. This is one way I suggest that you do. So, and now you're thinking about, okay, what do I want to do? I mean, I have that here for a reason, so I think maybe it's better that we either do the top with this or leave it the way it is. Or if you have a different thing, you can use something like this. But I think I'm going to leave it like this. And now what you're going to do is we're going to fill this with flowers, a bouquet. And what you could do is fresh flowers also. You can put fresh flowers in it. You put a glass inside. But let's do that. Let's go to the step that you know, sometimes I do things a little bit chaotic. Because when I make my videos, the idea comes to me, and then right away what I do is I grab the things that I know I have, and then while I'm working I have other ideas to come along with it, and I don't have the project stuff that I need that I can use for it. So that's one bad thing about me with that part. But please stay with me. You can either use plastic flowers or silk flowers. I suggest silk flowers. Silk flowers look much better. Or if you want to use fresh flowers, I suggest that you get a glass that's the same size. What you could also do is do recycling and get an old jar from like Marmelade. I'm talking German again. Jam, and then you can stick it in here. But I'm going to go check and see if I can find one and I can show you what I'm talking about. So let's go to the next step in filling this in. So everybody, I went and got some of the bottles that I cleaned. I mean, it's not totally cleaned off, but I suggest that you clean everything off. I put mine in the dishwasher. And what happens is, usually the glue gets loosened and then the paper falls off on its own, so you don't have to scrub or anything. But like I suggest, get a glass bottle that's pretty much the same size. And there you go. You can fill that up with water and stick some of your flowers in like you would want to stick inside it. But I don't have any fresh flowers, so I cannot do that. But I do have is some plastic flowers here, silk ones. And I suggest that you take whatever you want, and what you could do is you get one of these sponges that you use for fresh flowers. You can buy those too and stick them in here. And you can stick the flowers in how you want them. Leaves, vines, whatever you want to do. This is my painting sponge. I don't have one of them, lighter. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut all these off. And I'm going to get my wire cutters here. Well, this is for outside garden tools. But you can still use it for stuff like this, so pick that up in a minute. I'll pick it up now before I forget. I have a garbage barrel right under here. Throw that in there. And what I do is I would suggest that you take off flower, all the ones as far as you can get for now. So as you can see, what I'm doing here now is I got my ivy and I took this long leaf that came with the white orchids. Now what I'm doing is I'm gluing the flowers onto the leaves here, as you can see what I'm doing, because this thing can bend. And what I want to do is I want to try to put it all around on one, and then I want to try to, then I can stick it in the middle here. Like this, and this is what my plan is. So far so good, because once you have that inside, this is totally covered, you won't see it. So what I'm going to do now is get my trusty glue gun, my new one, which I'm so happy about. It's a really nice one. And so now let me take some more of this. You see what I'm talking about? Making it like this. And then this other leaf I will stick in between so you have some green into it. Or what I could do is also stick some of these ivy leaves onto the back of the flowers so you can see some of these things sticking out like that. So I'm gonna, like I said before, you can play with all these things and see what works good for you. This is what I'm going to do. What I was trying, the idea what I want to do is I want to try to glue everything on one thing so then I can put it in the middle and then everything's just flowing. So now what I want to do is stick some of these flowers now, you know, maybe like this. I think I'm going to do that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some glue. I don't need this. So what I'm going to do is take that off. I can reuse that on something else. So what you want to do is take it like this and figure it out exactly how you want to put it. And you see where you want to put it. Take your glue gun. Put some glue in a spot where you think you want to stick it. And there you go. Just let it sit so that it can cool down. And you just keep doing that. And when you're done with connecting all the flowers together and then you put it inside here, what you could do is maybe take some ribbon, colored ribbon, and wrap the whole bottom, or buy some of these tape that's extra for flowers, or when you make fresh flowers, or when you work with silk flowers, when you make your own bouquet. You can buy those everywhere. What I want to do now is you're going to take, when you're done gluing everything, what you're going to do is you want to try to take this and wrap it so that it kind of looks like it's all together so you cannot see it. So like I said, work with what you have and what you want to put on it. It's your way. So now what I want to do is, maybe I'm going to stick some more flowers over here. So what I'm going to do is I can take this and add this here. You just keep going until you can. Nashtinka. Like I said to you so many times before, be very careful. The glue is very hot. You can burn your fingers. Another tip is never leave a hot glue gun or anything that can harm children or dogs laying around so that they can hurt themselves. Never leave these things unattended. It's very important. So now that I got this here, thinking now I can, since these are both wires, let me intertwine them. So now that, you see so far how good that looks? And what I could, like I said, I wanted to do is, you know, stick some of this here. What I could do is take this, cut it in half, and then I can use the other end too. I'll show you in a sec. So now that you have, see how that flower looks like this, the leaf, you could always cut the other end. You know, cut the other end to do the same thing. And there you go, you have two instead of just one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this end off too so I can use this. There's no need to have it such big end. So that's what I have here, you can see. So now I have 3 leaves that I can stick on here. I'm not closing this up yet like this until I have everything that I want on there. So now you can see how that looks so far. Maybe I'll add a few more. You don't want to put too much. If you want to have it bigger, you can. But right now what I want to do is, I think I'm going to stick this leaf on here. So what I'm going to do is stick it on like this. Oh, it's hot. Told you, be careful. Glue gun works really well. I'm happy with it. What's so good about this glue gun is what you can do is you just unconnect it from where you when you sit it on the stand. You can see here, when you sit it on the stand, it's plugged in here. So when you're not using it, what you could do is just sit it like this and it's not on anymore. So it can cool down, which is good. So the next step is I got some leaves and some baby breaths and I glued them together like this. So what I did is I took this and one of these and I took that off because you don't need it all, you just need it to be like this. So what I did is I stuck just a tiny bit of glue on the end here. Actually I should stick it onto this one. Just enough so that you can stick this on here. And make sure you don't burn your fingers at the same time because that would hurt. So, like I said, just like this. So what I want to do now, I think I'm pretty done, pretty much. Well, okay, no, one more. I think we need to put something here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another flower and I'm going to stick it on this end. Because I want to make sure that, you know, you don't see anything from the inside here. So now we need another leaf. Where's my leaf? I think I'm going to stick you like this. Yeah, I think that looks good. Yeah. So I'm going to take some glue and bend this just a tad. And like I said, where do I want to stick it? Over here. Yep. And like I said, be very careful that you don't burn your fingers. And now once we're done with doing the bouquet, the next step is using tape, or I think I'm going to use some strong tape first to bind this all together once it's totally cooled down, the glue. What's so good about these leaves, you can bend them if you want. I think that looks good. That will look really nice inside there. So you don't want to put that in there looking like this. So most flowers, of when people make arrangements, this is usually what it looks like on the bottom. So what you want to do is, I'm going to just take some random tape. I would suggest you to get a color tape that would match the theme. No one's going to see this. I'm just doing this because it's for decoration for my home. And now what you want to do is take the rest of this stuff. Oops. And now tape it, you know, pretty much all together like this. You can use a gray tape or a dark green tape even. I'm going to cut this end off. Don't need that there. So, and now what we do is we can stick the flower in there, and I think that looks good. So there's something missing. I think it should be more green, and that's what this is for. So what you could do is you can stick these on the ends. Or what you want, you can also glue them, which is also a suggestion, so I think I'm going to do that. So I would suggest to glue it like this, bend it, once you glue it, you can tape it again if you want, so it looks decent or neat. Like I said, you bend it. Then I want to do the other side also. And then do this. If you want to have it all on all four sides, you can. Instead of sticking it on the glue, I'll stick it on. There we go, like this. Let it sit for a few minutes. And once you get this all rolled up, I mean, you can also put tissue paper in here if you want, something like this. Also, and, you know, make sure that you have enough room for the whole area, and then you can go like this. So no one can see if anyone does see in between the flowers, it's covered. And then once this is cooled, somehow that piece came down, don't know why, but let's glue that on again. That was So, and then once you have it in the directions you want or how you want your leaves be sitting, or you can move it, because most of the stuff here are all wires. And there you go. If you still see the inside somehow and you'll say, I don't like the way it looks, you can always add some more, like these little flowers here in the end. Or if you want to add some other flowers, you can take these ones off, glue these two pieces together, and I think I'll do that. And then you can stick this in here too if you want, like this. I think maybe I should put one on this side. And then you can stick this here too, and there you go. So here's your centerpiece. Easy, very easily made. Yeah, I think this looks great so far how it is. And I will take a picture of it on a table on my porch. I'm going to leave it outside. And yeah, that's it. And I hope you like my video, and if you do, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. I would love to have you join my family. And if you have questions or comments, please write them below. And like I said at the beginning, I will have the link on this video for this technique for the tiles. If you don't want to use the napkins on it, you can make this, how I did here without the napkin. You can still, without cutting them off. What you could do is do this. Instead of using, cutting it all apart, but you see how the big gap is? I don't like that. So you may have to cut it. But you can still stick them all together like this. And it should be fine. I used that one. So let's cut one off, and I want to show you what I'm talking about. If you want something elegant, something nice, this is a suggestion what you could do. I will have some more ideas in the next couple of videos, I hope, on decoration ideas, what you could use for a centerpiece. But like I said, with this, you can do the same thing with these ones. Put it all around and just keep it plain if you want. And then you can stick your thing in here and put your flowers. This is too big, but if you get this one like this, I'm not going to open it up again because it stinks, but that fits perfect. So if you get something like this, no one's going to see what's inside. You can put that in there, put water in it, put your fresh flowers, and then they can take it home. That is a suggestion for you. You don't have to put the Mosh Posh technique on it. You can leave it like this if you want, and then add, some bling to it like this, all around it. And that is another suggestion. What you could do is something like this also for a wedding. You can do that. It's like the ideas are endless. And like on the sides again, I would definitely suggest that you use these pearls or something, or white pearls. You can buy white pearls, in the same, or gold, and do this too. I suggest that you do something in between like that, because leaving it like this, I don't think it looks good. So I suggest that you do it like this. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was still taping. And that's it. Like I said, there is so many choices that you could do and so many ideas. I suggest that you Don't worry about the glue. It'll come right off. Like I told you, hot glue doesn't stick to it. See, it comes right off. I mean, that one was very thin. That's probably why it was, but once you get a cloth and wipe it down, it's gone. Hot glue does not stick onto this. It'll peel right off. That's why I said here, the glue sticks here because this is paper, and when you stick paper over it and then you glue it with hot glue, then it will work. But without the paper, it will not work. Okay, like I said, here you go. Here's my little bouquet for your wedding centerpiece for the small tables. For the longer tables, what you could do is make them longer like this. You know, take these and go like this, and then you glue them accordingly, you know, all across here, all across here. I don't want to do that because I'm not going to use it. I won't be using it. But what I could do is, suggestion, I will just show you some quick ideas here. So now, I'm just going to cut. Oops. Here we go. I'm going to have to cut it all apart anyway, so. Like I said, what I'm going to suggest is, what you could do is leave it like this if you want, and then glue them together like this. You see what I'm talking about? Like this. And then do the same thing on this side, and then one on this side. Use the E6000 glue or some kind of really super strong glue, not hot glue, because hot glue will not stick to this. That's a little suggestion for you. So when you're done with this, you can do the same thing like I said before. You know, you do the bling. You can either put it on top or on the bottom. But this is just, you know, you may have these sitting at home. You may not even have to go out and buy these. This is what I'm talking about. This page is all about recycling. And this, I'm recycling. They were going to just throw this away and put it in the garbage if no one bought it. So, and I decided, you know, I buy whatever they have. And this is what I'm doing now. I'm making coasters, of course, out of it. But you could make a beautiful table setting for the, you can make it longer if you want. If you want it longer, you can make them like this. But I do suggest if you make it so, you know, much bigger than this here, I do suggest that you put maybe some cardboard underneath here, a long skinny piece of cardboard, so that, or what you could do is buy, not sure, no, I think this may be too, no, that would be too much. That'll be too much. You need a cardboard, something that's strong on the bottom, that's evenly across it. You can normal cardboard, you can get, you know, like what I have here, you know, you just glue that on there like that, make it perfect. Make sure it's a nice thick piece. This is of too thin. And stick it on there, because when you want to pick it up, when it's all together, it's going to go flipping like this. So you don't want to leave it like this. You could glue it together, you know, cut them up instead of leaving it like this. But I just think, you know, leaving it on with this thing makes it a little bit more stronger. Hello everybody. Here I decided to make a plain one too, as you can see here. So you can see what I'm talking about. And these are the ideas that you could have. I think they look great. And yeah, I'm very happy with them very much. I think that's a really good idea if you want to use it on a table at a wedding. I mean, of course, it will look much better when it's with the decorations all around it. I'm not having a wedding and I'm not setting my table up like one. But these are just little ideas. My favorite is the purple one, but if you want to have the natural plain one, which is even less work, you can just do it like this. But if you want to have it with a motive on it, a decoration motive on it, like I said, follow the video with the coaster to make these tiles into coasters. Use the napkin technique with it. There are so many different kinds. But yeah, check that out. Check out the other videos of it. And yeah, watch out for my other videos coming up for the weddings segment. And I wish you a wonderful day.